Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45, but it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, you can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42, 42, 42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X 3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Esports Showdown Series Season 5 Valorant, powered by Crucial by Micron with their GPU partners Zotac Gaming and our media partners Gossip.gg. We are now back with Day 3, ladies and gentlemen, of the lower bracket run this time around. Yesterday we did have the upper brackets, a lot of upsets and a lot of broken hearts, as they are now back once again to see exactly, do they have the mettle, do they have the drive, and do they have the fire burning within them to go through this lower bracket run and take the revenge that they truly deserve up against the teams that are waiting for them up there. It's going to be your boy Aggressive with Nahana on my side to bring you all of the action. Nahana, I'm going to be asking you, how do you feel about the lower bracket matchups?
I am pretty excited because on the upper brackets, the teams still have at least a safety net, but on the lower brackets, this is a do or die situation. And that's when all the magic happens. That's where all the teams go for everything they have and they put it all in that every single round, not just one match. Every single round, they're doing a do or die match for themselves. It's amazing. The caliber there just shows it's a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's kind of how the game of Valorant goes. Like yesterday, we made a lot of predictions. In a way, we were trying to figure out what exactly could go wrong, what could work well for a couple of these teams, but we were mistaken in almost every regard. We expected Deadlift to be one of those teams that really couldn't make the distance happen because their roster, of course, even though their team play was incredible, but their individual skill was falling behind. But as the games progressed more and more up against the roster that they were, they just couldn't really force it as much as they would have up against X2. But now that they're here down on this lower bracket run, things are a lot more different. Jumping down over into the prize pool as well, you need to see the breakdown of what exactly the teams are fighting for as well, because the first initial match will be 120 FPS versus Team Ace. Now, I'm going to be the person to say it already. Team Ace should be the one. But 120 FPS already have proven themselves to be an incredible roster that can really push almost every team to the breaking point with their own strategies.
Well, I would agree to that. I think there's a lot of fight that's still gonna happen between the two, but I've decided not to go against your predictions at all whatsoever because you've been pretty accurate with them mostly. But yeah, all of these fights for the big prize pool of 1 lakh INR that stands for Showdown Series seasons every single time. It just never has been any less. I believe that the prize pool itself is a very big motivator alongside the bragging rights and everything. This is a huge amount of money that you can actually secure for yourselves in that short of a time period. And I think that's the reason so many teams have stuck with the Showdown Series for such a long time.
Absolutely. It's consistent. So if you are a consistent winner or if you are consistently finishing in the top 2, the money does add up. Plus you're gaining Valorant experience so that you can play in even more bigger tournaments that Esports Lovers is eventually going to be coming out with. So make sure to follow our links down below in the description to see exactly what we are going to be up to. But the journey is still quite long and perilous. It just started only 2 days ago. And regardless of whatever happens, you need to have the consistency to make it through even forward onto this grand final stage. There's still chances. None of the real teams have yet to grasp what is going to be going on here, because now that the lower bracket run is slowly but surely going to be coming to a close, the upper bracket people, yeah, they have the safety net, but in the lower bracket, how do you want to turn this one around? Because in a way, you only have one shot. Either you go big or you go.
True that. That's the only way for the players in the lower bracket. And well, today's teams are gonna be all belonging to that. We have the first match between 120 FPS and Ace, and then the second match between Team Deadlift and Zero Frags. I am pretty excited for the second one more than the first one because obviously I didn't get to see Ace play just yet. But for the second match, I have seen both the teams play already, and I have a strong inclination towards Team Deadlift there.
It's gonna need to see how this one goes. Zero Frags, though, in a way, this matchup of Deadlift versus Zero Frags has a pretty good chance of going all 3 maps when I think about it. Both teams very evenly matched here, Deadlift being very systematic in their approach to the game. So if they're able to make that slow systematic approach work up against Zero Frags, they should have a pretty decent chance to just easily take over the game. But game number 1 is what we're going to be having in front of your screens on the very initial stages. Ace versus 120 FPS. Now, this is a game that either could be one of the fastest BO3s that we have had, or it could be one of the most grueling ones. I'm not expecting it to be right in the slapbang center because 120 FPS, they're unorthodox playstyle. Yes, it has its merits, but at the same time, it also has its demerits if Ace are prepared to go up against the weird compositions that 120 FPS have on them.
Well, we'll soon find out. It's not going to be long before the teams show their colors to us on the game. Ace and 120 FPS definitely gonna be an interesting one, and I'm just not gonna take any names yet. Not for this one. But yes, today's match is definitely very interesting because again, whoever wins from here moves forward to fight against each other from both the matches. And yes, Team Ace, I think they are pretty prepared. Their arsenal is pretty stacked. Let's see what their lineup is going to be. And I would like to know from you which players you have most bets on. We've been talking about One Tap God quite a lot already.
Sure. One Tap God is just the face of consistency when it comes down to a duelist player. The man knows how to take over a server. We are not going to even question how well he can play. But other players that we need to keep our eye on is, of course, the veteran face of Wimp, who is an incredible clutcher in his own regard. Izzy, when he is on that chamber, can be an absolute driving force if the map of Mind will be picked up by I'm pretty sure that Bind should be banned out by 120 FPS. You do not want to go up against Ezzy and his chamber. The way that he holds down any particular sideline with the 2 to force in hand, it's very scary to go up against. And then there's, of course, Dr. Evil as well that you have to consider, because he's a sleeper pickup that a lot of people don't even witness until he's just taking over the game with 4Ks and 3Ks in every return. But at the same time, as we jump on down over to the roster of 120 FPS, we also need to talk about how incredible they have been in yesterday's matchup, especially players like NZ and Greeny, who have completely been taking over the game out of nowhere. Fox, he is that veteran presence that can drive the team forward, but NZ probably is that superstar that we've been talking about the most. On that ISO, being on that killjoy, he is an iron wall that cannot be taken.
I agree, and when it comes to 120 FPS, what's even more interesting is their compositions. It's completely out of the box. I like how they go for, very unorthodox compositions on their maps, and it's just pretty interesting to see how they make it work. Let's take a look at the maps that are going to be played so that we can figure out what more to expect from 120 FPS when it comes to their agent picks.
The map Veto for our screens, ladies and gentlemen. So the map of Bind getting picked up at the very beginning. And it's going to be 120 FPS who picked up this map. Now, this is a pretty interesting ploy being taken by them. If you look at the statistics as well, members of Team Ace, they are very proficient on this map. Primarily, again, I'm going to fall back on Ezzy and his chamber. It's a very dangerous gamble for you to take 120 FPS. Either this could be the best read that you could have had and you prep yourself for what could be coming in front of you for this map, but even then, preparation is one thing. Take a fight like this, it's very dangerous.
I agree. But if you take Bind out of it, both the next maps are literally the maps 120 FPS has lost on yesterday. We know what the compositions are that we can expect on those maps, but still, it's gonna be maps that Ace has read very recently, very freshly, and 120 has lost on. So I don't think the morale is gonna be very high right now.
I don't think so either, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt for now, because 120 FPS, they have certain compositions that they really picked up pretty well. They know how to use those unorthodox comps to really take over their opponents early on, but their late game, when it comes down to the later stages of the round, when it's a 9 and 10 half, 9 and 11, but they really start to struggle figuring out what else that they can do with their composition, because their one-dimensional approach is something that's really holding them back in certain instances. But in a way, I think that's the strength of this team, that they need to start figuring out how to utilize that strength better. They need to know that, okay, if we are given a chance to close out a game as early as we possibly can, we need to take it over. Jump to the opportunity, make sure you are constantly able to stop your opponents from figuring out your overall strats. That's why I kept on saying yesterday, 120 FPS, only if they finish the game a bit earlier when they were given the opportunity. Then I'm pretty sure that yesterday's matchup was... I completely messed up. Who was up against 120 FPS yesterday? Blank slate for just a second.
Nearest bus stand.
Yes, the nearest bus stand. The nearest bus stand would not have been able to take that victory up against them. I kept on saying it over and over again. The map of Haven, I love the pickup of the Euro and of course the ISO. But it's too one-dimensional. As soon as your opponents start figuring you out, you're gonna start figuring.
That's true, and that happened a lot. Because every single time with this very unorthodox composition, they were able to come back into the game and start up very strong, but that start was not followed through for a really long time, because once the read was done from the other team, it was almost done and dusted. They did give up a very good fight. They did make sure that they were very close enough in the scoreline till the end, but it doesn't matter how little the round difference was. If you lost, you still lost.
That's the reality of the game of Valorant sometimes, that even if you're getting close, like the saddest victories, sorry, the saddest losses is when you're at that 11 to 12 margin, your team is already at an advantage, you're playing at 2v4. Mind you, this happened time and time again to the members of 120 FPS. They were winning on the man advantage, and then 2 seconds later, it was a 2 versus 1. All of the members died, it's all up to one person to try and go for a match. These are the type of things that just cannot happen to you. This is a similar problem to what the members of Deadlift had, but Deadlift, they were playing a much more standardized composition. They just fell flat when it came down to the overall execution. The innovation that are being showcased by the members of 120 FPS is one of their biggest strengths. They just need to harness it a lot better so they can either make a lot more strategic plays overall with the competition that they are trying to take, or they need to finish their games a lot more quicker so that they cannot run out of those set plays and compositions. Playing slow is good, and don't get me wrong. If you're trying to play for a pick, that's completely fine. But understand one thing: whenever you play for a pick, you're allowing your opponent's options to just not even swing into you. They will play for the key positions of the map and hold all of their utility there instead. So if they're able to stop you from taking those very fast rushes that you want at the later half of a round, when it's like 30-40 seconds in, you need to start establishing a lot more aggressive map control early on to try and counteract them. There are small bits of tug and war that this team really need to start figuring out, because up against Ace, that tug and war gameplay is even more crucial than ever.
True that. And it's gonna be difficult because you can't just keep bringing yourself in positions where the scoreline difference is so little, because then you have more and more to lose. Even though you can have a shot at winning, there's more and more to lose. I would definitely want to see 120 FPS trying to keep that advantage with themselves early on itself. The biggest reason I want to see 120 FPS continue in this run is because I want to keep seeing all these unorthodox picks they're bringing in and see how they evolve with it. It's something very unique that's come onto our radars, and I'm not expecting the same from anyone else. Like, most teams are already set in stone with their strategies, with their ways, and there's very little that changes around when they're playing with someone. Mostly just the macros that change a little bit around when they're having different teams to oppose. Like, if there's an aggressive team, they'll change a little bit. If there's a slow team, they'll change a little bit, but that's about it. There's no real innovation coming in those segments. While when it comes to 120 FPS, I am liking the experiments a lot.
Absolutely. Changing out your composition is probably the best way to really throw your opponents in a loop. And nearest bus stand, they were a team that was really facing these kind of problems. It took them a while to start figuring out how to try and counteract them. But as soon as they figured out, we don't need to take map control anymore, we'll let them do whatever the hell they want because they're waiting for us to make that first move. That's when nearest bus stand, they just sat inside of the side, which is something that you really shouldn't do. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that you should never do whenever you're playing the map of Haven, but up against that exact composition, that's the read that you need to have. And the fact that nearest bus stand got it allowed them to take that victory. Hopefully that is not going to be the case for this particular matchup where the map of Vine will be present as well. I am going to just be a little bit more on the acceptable side of things and give the members of Ace a chance to figure it out as well. Find is a map where I'm believing that they're going to be going for the Breach and Neon composition, a very simple composition that will allow them to take over the entire map. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, they still have to worry about Ezzy being on that chamber. Now, a lot of people can say, what is the problem with having a chamber on the team up against Neon Breach composition? Because chamber can easily teleport himself out of any sticky situation and be aggressive on the team. Normally, Neon, what is her biggest strength? She can she can use her stun, take a little bit of space away. The Breach can stun the other angle that the Neon stun cannot reach, and then you have double lines of entry completely covered up. And a player is almost guaranteed to die if you're able to catch them on that first initial string. That's kind of where everything stops. Chamber's the only character in the entire game that can get out of that double string of stuns and still set up with his team if he wants to later on down the line. it's stuff like this, the small bits of interactions that these characters have with their abilities that will give one of them an edge over the other. But as we are going to be talking for a while, ladies and gentlemen, extremely sorry for all of the delays. The players are going to be loading on down towards the game. So we're going to give you a little bit more analogy to what we can expect for these particular maps. That's my take on it, Anna. What about you for the map of Bind?
Well, on the map of Bind, I actually do like seeing Race and Neon coming together. I like a double duelist with a double controller on Bind alongside an initiator. I would like to see Breach come into play. Earlier, it used to be Sky, but as you mentioned, since she's not able to have a third flash or regenerative flashes, it's not as useful anymore. And for controllers, I think I would like to see an Omen alongside an Astra. I am not picking any wall controllers. I know Viper is a better choice, but I am just one of those people who wants more and more smokes alongside the adaptability of the smokes on Astra. It's a fast hit game for me. I am more interested in seeing fast hits towards site B on a map like Bind when it comes to attacking. But that's about it. That's about what I believe should be the move. But then again, these teams are more more observed by you than I have seen them. So I would definitely want to know what you think the compositions or the game strats can look like from both of these teams, because I don't believe they are interested in fast hits as much as I believe I am.
Yeah, 120 FPS, I do believe as a team, they are not going to be going in for the quickest of plays, but at the same time, the Astra is going to be something that could be on the cards for either one of these teams. But we have gotten confirmation that the technical difficulties from the players are taking a little bit while longer, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be jumping on down over onto a very short little break to see what's going on the back end. Don't go anywhere. Be right back to the lot more Valorant action.
When are you gonna upgrade your system? Alright, let's do this.
Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45, but it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, You can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X 3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Just as I stated, it was going to be a very short little break. The player is already back in towards the server, and we're going to be jumping on down in towards the agent selection to see exactly what the map of mine will hold for us. We gave you our speculations of what kind of strategies we could be witnessing. The Astra still yet to get picked up by a lot of the teams, even though she has 5 stars, which is, I'm just going to say, the most broken thing Astra could have in her arsenal. But in a way, give teams some time. They'll start to pick up on it. And here is where I'm going to be waiting to see whether or not the map of mine could be in the favor of 120 FPS, because on paper it should be a map where this team really strives to be at the very top.
Okay, let's see how that turns out, because again, I believe if this turns out to be the map where 120 FPS gets themselves their first victory, the second one will already be difficult for the other team to go ahead and seize anymore, because again, as I keep talking about morale, I think that's one of the most important things when it comes down to a team game. And once you've lost against a very unusual, unorthodox composition, which the casters also keep being skeptical about in the beginning, as we were about both the compositions from 120 FPS early on, you start to wonder if you're doing something wrong. And then once you get into the loop of double thinking your choices, you already run out of the time that you require to make your decisions while being in a game like this, because it's not one of those games where you can think about something in advance and then go ahead and execute it. This is one of those games where you literally have to think on the fly almost all the time. No matter how many strategies you have in head, in that instant, you have to react and not, just follow through a plan. So I believe being able to be in a place where you're able to keep your cool, keep your calm, and just be collected enough to go ahead and trust your decisions, trust your instincts, and follow through with it is going to be very crucial for any of the teams.
Absolutely. Just like the crucial SSDs that we have for you guys in the links down below in the description. Make sure to check out all the lovely deals from our sponsors, not just crucial SSDs and of course their RAMs. Also check out Zotac Gaming as well if you are looking to upgrade to a better graphics card. I really do need one, so eventually I'm going to be upgrading as well. Make sure to check out all the links down below in the description to get the state-of-the-art graphics card casing and of course high-end cooling from our lovely sponsors. We're going to see how all these techs are going to be performing and how to best optimize them. Plasma.gg has you covered with their technological reviews. So all the links down below in the description. But again, small bits of technical difficulty here and there, ladies and gentlemen. We are trying to iron things out as much as we possibly can so that the players can have a smooth experience inside the game. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the second map of Haven being on the horizon. Now, this map I do believe is where 120 FPS might just struggle. Last time around up against Nearest Bus Stand, yes, it can work. Because Nearest Bus Stand, even though the team is really strong, don't forget there's still a group of friends playing together, and I don't believe they scrim as often. Up against Ace, this is so much more difficult because this is a team that we know for a fact scrims almost every single day. They're a roster that they have been sticking together for a very long time. They have protocols in place for every single one of their strategies. So in that sense, where is that?
Well, let's see how the agent select is gonna look. And okay, to my surprise, I'm already seeing a Sky in the play. I did not believe that.
Yeah. Sky is still one of the best solo initiators for this particular map, so in a way, I'm not that surprised that she's gonna get picked up for this particular one. Euro and Raze, though, is what I'm really looking forward to. Homeboy has been showing his predominance on this Euro quite often here, but with the home turf map of Bind now in his belt, I think this overall could be a composition that can work wonders for them. This is straight up just the Paper X composition that they had when they were in Champs 2. So for this map of Bind, if they're able to replicate the strategy properly, Ace, they're in for a world.
Well, let's see how that turns out because, again, as you mentioned, yes, Sky is still one of the very, picked agents for this map, but then I would want it to be combined with one more flash agent, which I'm not seeing from the side of Ace. I mean, they could have gone for Reina at least, or something to give more flashes, because I don't think those two flashes are going to be enough, specifically in a map which gives you so much room to rotate around, like in and out all the time with those teleportals. You're gonna keep requiring flashes. I don't see that composition being the best. Plus, I don't really love Deadlock. Call me anything. I don't love Deadlock, but she's in there. I want to see how that's gonna be utilized.
Just give them the benefit of the doubt of that one, right? Because you can say that Deadlock is not that strong, but I beg to differ because on maps such as Bind and of course even on Lotus, a lot of teams have started picking up on that Deadlock, and the Deadlock is just incredible to say the very least. And I'm pretty sure when Fracture is going to be coming out as well on towards the map pool, people will start to figure out that Deadlock is pretty good. We're going to be jumping on down over in towards the game. Hopefully the agent selection is going to be looking a lot more better when it comes to the other maps, with the possibility of a Deadlock from 120 FPS. But for now, we're just going to have Euro as a treat for our eyes for the first initial basis. Got Flash Dodge coming in early. NZ sniffing his monitor here. He's just so ready to take that fight. Zace took early information, and immediately they're not be forcing anything.
It seems like the players of 120 FPS are trying to take it slow. As you mentioned in the beginning itself, they're not going to be ones to go for fast hits or anything. They are waiting their time out. They're still looking forward to see more and more util being dumped from the side of Ace. However, that's not happening just yet. Ace is pretty aware of what 120 FPS wants to do here. Greeny being the first casualty, leaving two more players of 120 FPS on very little HP. It looks like a good start for the side of Ace, but wait a minute. The lamp push could have turned into something good, but that classic was just so classy.
See, these shots being missed out here. Him's going to be in position, and instantly the rotation's going to be coming through as well over towards the opposite side. Jump through. He's going to be one tap god who tried to go in for a play, but Homeboy just had the better angle up against him. Too many angles to clear when you're jumping inside of the teleporter. Stuck on a 1v3 Wimp. Watch out for the team. He has done this time and time again on every single one of his rosters, but it's still going to be a tough one at that. Only just a classic in hand. He needs to go win big. Timing. Present just a little bit here, but Fox's positioning is just better. Goes in for the headshot and takes him out. Ace. They had the early lead, but overall, a couple of missed shots really just costed them everything.
A good start for the side of 120 FPS, but we've seen this time and again. They start well, but then they're not able to go ahead and follow through with it very well. Let's see if 120 FPS is going to be able to carry this through. Oh, one tap god. Yeah, one tap god is not in the servers anymore. We can wait for him. Every good game is worth the wait.
It's worth the wait until the wait almost takes like half an hour. I'm pretty sure the audience back at home, they're having the issues as well, and we are extremely sorry for all of this, but we need to make sure that the players are having a smooth experience so that we can do top-notch round of action that they deserve back at home. So giving up them got the chance to get himself back in once again. Hopefully all of his issues get ironed out soon enough, but for 120 FPS though, this composition that they're trying to run does have its merits. NC being on that race is what I'm really looking forward to see, because I do believe that NC really plays all the roles now. He's been going over to the duelist. I think I've seen him on Initiator before on other maps, and he's also playing the Sentinel. So he has the versatility to make things work, and he's still fragging out in almost every role.
I agree. With this composition, what are you expecting the strats to look like from the side of Ace? Because again, I mean, you are more well versed with Deadlock. I just try to avoid her as far as possible. Not very good on my part, but that's how it is.
I'm kind of unsure about that. I think I'm just gonna allow the game to really evolve itself for now on the first initial stages before I make any firm predictions just yet. The way that Ace has the initial bit, I would say, the way that Ace have been approaching the first initial strand of this fight, I'm just gonna say that the team needs to be like I'm pretty sure they're still just trying to feel out their opposition. This is kind of the thing that Ace does quite often. That pistol rounds aren't really the best because they have no idea what their enemies are supposedly gonna
Exactly.
be doing on the earlier stages. So for now, I'm gonna wait and see how things really go through. Fox is gonna get checked out by his teammates, and the cat is meowing in the background. I love that spray, honestly. Ryan did a wonderful
I
job
know,
with
right?
that spray.
That spray comes along with a buddy of its own, doesn't it? There's a very similar buddy as well with the guns, yeah.
That's just meowing away.
Why do I why do I have a feeling that 120 FPS, just like yesterday, is still seeing the stream and they know that we are standing here looking through Fox's perspective, and that's why they are just checking him out to stay on cam.
Nah.
A little more limelight glory time, meowing there.
They're just in that own zone. All the players are pretty much ready to try and take this one away. I do believe that the game is going to start pretty soon here as well, because do not forget we do give all of the players an allotted amount of time for their technical difficulties while inside of the game. So hopefully we're gonna be jumping on down in soon, but we want to have God is gonna be able to come back before that. So down on the approach here, as we've kind of beat around the bush as much as we can about the overall compositions and what they can really be doing here. But for now, I think that both these teams, they should be very evenly matched regardless of everything.
Well, as you wait for One Tap God, I'll just go ahead and give you more fun tidbits with Anna.
Ah, yes.
Yes, let's do that. Did you know that the map of Bind was earlier called Duality?
What?
Yes. It was supposed to be named Duality, which is now its code name, by the way. And Bind is situated in Morocco, where Cypher is from. So it's literally his home ground.
That I knew, but what about the other facts?
You didn't know it was called Duality. I already gave you one fact. Relax.
Pointing.
There was a point of time when I thought I should start, like, making trivia for Valorant, and I started digging information. I read the whole lore and everything. I ended up finding out every single character's real names, their real life locations, same for all the maps and the code names and everything. Yeah, that's just how I spent my time.
Hey, at least you really went through with that. Start to make YouTube videos. Maybe everything's gonna be a lot more better than that. I would watch trivia, useless facts about Valorant that you didn't know about.
Now that I have audience, I'll go ahead and make it. right after this
Go
match, though,
ahead.
which is starting now. I think there's going to be a lot of, dead space in these matches in the earlier rounds because 120 FPS being on the attacking side, they're not a very aggressive team. They want to take their time. They want to analyze the situation, wait for the other team to make a mistake before they actually make their own moves. So it's generally going to be like, both the teams just waiting across the borders for one team to make their first step.
Absolutely. Agree with you on that statement, but hopefully there's not going to be too much dead space because knowing the members of Ace, they are not really going to be the team that goes in hyper aggressively, especially up against a team that just waits out for as long as they possibly can. Rushes to be stopped soon, but
didn't read
the way
it.
that it generally plays,
30 seconds left.
they need to be on the prowl for it. It's evil. Already gave all the information away to his teammates that they're going to be coming in for this fast hit.
But he's undetected.
Yeah. No one's even going to go towards Hookah. This is something that a lot of players tend to forget about. Hookah's not really that important of a position to fight into for attackers anymore. If you just have a player outside of Hookah, that's completely fine because as soon as you enter onto the side from long, you're pretty much safe on every other side line.
True that. Look at Fox coming to fish for the players. He is going to be able to avenge the death of his friend Enzi. And there it is. The numbers are just rolling in the favor of 120 FPS. It doesn't seem like Ace is going to have a lot of shot here. That footstep did reveal the position of Masters. Okay. I think in this round, I do have a little bit of complaint for this guy from Ace. It was a great position in Hookah. Yes, the attackers were not going to come contented, and they were not even aware of the positioning for a while. In that time period, I was expecting a flank coming in from them because they were not even going to expect that quick a flank. There were still 3 players near the octagon. It should have started coming into a flank from Hookah. I know the position had to be held, but there was no fight that could have been challenged at that point. After giving the information, I think this
the
guy should
flash
have
in
moved
real
on.
life. Wait, I'm
Yes.
sorry for interrupting you. He dodged the flash in real life. I
Just
love that.
turn around, yeah.
Oh, good God. That's how you know that he's a true Valorant genius. Not just the flash in game and in real life. It's kind of sad as well. That's when you know that you played Valorant a little bit too much when you start dodging flashes in real life.
Always gonna be helpful when you're driving at night. Just
What
look
do you
away
then
from
do?
all the light coming ahead.
Aha! So a truck is gonna be running into your face and you look away from the truck so you don't get hit by it, right?
No, you look away from the truck so you don't get blinded while you're trying to also take your car to the other direction. Excuse me. I'm not that dumb, come on.
Wimp in this scenario, he's also not going to be taking any darn risks. Jumping straight back almost immediately. Very interesting wall, I'd say, to the very least. Early on the placement to try and stop a possible Reflect from coming in, but I think the team, they're not really going to be risking much. Wimp able to capitalize instantly, coming back in towards the fight, and one tap God over from the opposite end. Living true to his name, going in for the one taps here. Beautiful round indeed. 1-2.
The adjustments from the side of Ace are so quick. They saw exactly what happened the last round. They made the adjustments. They changed the position of deadlock utilities. They made sure that they were closing the site off from a different angle, made sure that they were giving themselves the space to go ahead and take those fights. Not only that, they still made sure that there was no site completely empty. So when Greeny started to try and sneak his way up into site A, there were still 2 people fighting up against him. Even though when it comes to the aim game, I can say that Ace is slightly above mark when compared to 120 FPS.
I've got your trail.
Homeboy has way too much information.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Homeboy
Oh,
tried to jump out, but he's just gonna get caught out in the open for it. Wimp in towards the back lines. Greeny still holding down from the top rope. They're just going to be able to flood in towards this B side before any of the members of the defense are even able to try and figure out what's going on wrong for them. Dr. Evil on the angle. The spray was perfect for him. Able to hold and slowly lurk his way up here. One more for the fight. Was perfect for it. But he's not going to be risking much here. Greeny holding down from the sideline as they instantly gone in for a rotation, which they really didn't need to do so. They're playing it so safe and giving Drevel a very good chance to go in for a possible clutch here. Greeny's the only one who's holding from the B side, but Drevel, he's not even going to be risking much here. For a full rotation all the way from the back, he's just going to be saving his weapon. They could have opted to go in for the plant on the B side as it was just only one player, but giving your opponent an opportunity for a save, they are paranoid that there's a good chance he could have wound in for a clutch.
True that. They don't want to risk it. They don't want to risk anything right now. It's just very early in the game. It's not a big lead where they would be comfortable, losing a couple rounds. So they're just going to sit and wait for the next round to begin. 120 FPS, so they're taking control of the numbers, but yet again, as you mentioned early on, it's the linearity of their gameplay that just puts them in a place where they may or may not be able to carry it forward against a team like Ace. And I can see that the way the adjustments came in from Ace, I am scared of how many times 120 FPS is going to be able to keep bringing new things on the table to be able to get them more and more rounds, because none of the rounds are replicable. When they keep trying to do the same thing again, they are being caught.
So I need to wait and see how this is going to be panning out for them now. Fast rush can do wonders for you, but when you have a double sentinel composition, your sight holds needs to be an iron wall. In this scenario, the iron wall doesn't really look that good. Here, NZ with the showstopper does find the opening that he needs inside of the side. They have the entry that they would have hoped for. With the spike plant going on down soon enough as well, this will be a 5v5 retake. And this is a retake that I don't personally enjoy. I've told you this time and time again. Retakes going into the B side is always difficult. Prime with the shot, he's going to be able to live. The annihilation comes through from Wimp to try and grab one, and he's going to be able to find it. That is for certain. One big frag coming in from Wimp as he's trying to hold down the line. Prime's position possibly revealed. He needs to clear out the post corner, but the spike plant yet to go down still. 40 seconds left on the clock, and Prime, he's stuck on an island. And he needs to try and find a kill. Playing it patient, playing it slow. This is so well done from his end, Anna. And Wimp, he's just paranoid that someone could be in towards elbow.
That he is, and he has no idea that both the players are right behind him. They're going to find him, catch him, but now it's a 1v1. Wanta got a frag of his own.
Oh, this is bad. He accidentally picked up his bucky again.
There's no time. Has to go ahead for the plant. Goes
Nice
in
shot.
for the fight as well. Greeny, well done. I thought that right after the plant, Greeny was gonna get picked off because it just did not look very favorable for the side of Greeny to go ahead in that fight and win. But he's just good at his gun, it seems.
Oh, very nicely done shot. Wouldn't have expected something like that whatsoever.
Yeah, 120 FPS is definitely giving a run for the money to Ace. It's not looking very easy for the side of Ace right now.
We're in the game of Valorant, nothing is ever easy now, is it? Masters though. The opposite side of this, he's just going to be waiting to see how this is going to be panning out for them.
Started with the ult.
This is looking very shaky overall on their setup. They're running a double sentinel composition, mind you, Ahana, and they're struggling this much. What will happen to them on the attack side if this is the case? I expected them to pick up on that chamber, but without a chamber, seems to be in a pretty tough spot. But Wimp, keeping his namesake ready as per usual. Masters, he's going to be the one to take the initiative here. Takes a double kill. Even things out to the slightest of degrees is Prime. He's gonna need to be the one who comes out on top in this engagement. Taking it slow, taking it steady here. He needs to try and retrieve the spike at the bare minimum. Master's position
Masters is already ready
revealed from
though.
that last fight, but he's so ready for this fight. It's a waiting game now.
Thrifty.
Be just me and a bottle of scotch.
A beautiful one for the side of Team Ace. As we were discussing earlier, aggressive, the rounds from the side of 120 FPS, no matter how beautiful they are when they are executed, they cannot be repeated. They have to keep bringing something new in the mix to be able to continue winning. And look at the economy. Now that the economy is also not looking very good for their side, it might just give an upper hand for Team Ace to go ahead and get themselves yet another round.
Blinded.
High possibilities. Not every possibility seems to be the case for it. A very good spray coming in from either side. NZ, absolutely no money to do anything, and a weapon that will not guarantee a kill as always. 3-4. Team Ace, they just started the round and immediately put a stop and a damper to all of their plans. Good early hold. They had the read ready. 120 FPS. Immediately, they take a pause to just reset themselves a little bit here. And overall, Ace, they have the understanding and they're slowly adapting. This is where the members of 120 FPS really will start to sweat. Problems of yesterday could be re-showing themselves here.
It seems like there's definitely gonna be a lot more challenges today for the side of 120 FPS than there were yesterday, to be honest. Because the way Ace is, stopping them in their tracks, it's just such a quick response from the side of Ace that I don't think 120 FPS is getting to carry forward their strategies for even more than 2 rounds in a row. I'm liking how Ace is literally, chasing 120 FPS. However, 120 FPS is the one with the leading score. So, yes, the difference of scoreline is very little, but it could still result in 120 FPS being the one on top.
Here. Here.
Give them some time to adjust onto this. 120 FPS. Biggest strength could also be their weakness here. Trevel, he's on the close angle. He's trying to play for that first line of contact. I love the setup that they've been going in for. You can see has the ready, set, go, play. And it's going to be one tap God who's going to be able to capitalize for the first initial hook. Wimp with another big kill on his own. Masters alone in towards showers. Not really the best of positions that you want to be in when you're trying to hold all by yourself. One tap God on the angle. He's going to be clearing out showers all by himself once again, which is a little bit dangerous. He does fall for it. There's absolutely no one that can even give him a little bit of backup. Izzy finds a kill over towards Prime, and that just leaves the last two completely unnecessary to try and even go in for the fight. Ace, good early round plan, but what happened to your mid round? They got a little bit too overzealous in their positions.
30 seconds left.
True that.
No surprises.
However, right now both the sides have very little fortification. But I think you scouted the area and missed out on Wimp. Yes, he did. He did. But now Wimp's position is revealed. It's still a 1v2 though.
10 seconds left.
Oh no. No, 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 no.
Last player standing.
What?
That
was not a fight that was supposed to be won by Fox, but yeah. The round is still not
Yeah.
gonna be theirs.
But he wasted the time, right? He peeked out and Fox had to take the duel. 4-4 though. Again for the members of Team Ace. A couple of these rounds are really coming down to the wire, but at the end of the day, depends on if you're able to win the round or not. But your overall economy, still not suffering the way that you would have expected, because Team Ace did win 3 rounds consecutively, so the win streak bonus is really helping them stabilize their overall economy. While the loss streak bonus is in the hands of 120 FPS to go in for the half buys with the shields that they do. Opportunity presented. As I expected one tap god to possibly pick up on an outlaw instead, because their opponent's not really having enough money to go in for proper full shield buys. That outlaw pretty much is an operator at that point.
The wait game starts yet again. This time around, we are not even seeing Deadlock on site B anymore. Like earlier 4 rounds, Deadlock was right here. And now Deadlock and Brimstone combination has gone towards site A instead. Sky being the first point of contact if anyone was to push towards site B. Seekers being deployed that early on. Wow!
Prepare for hellfire.
He was just about to run out and he was just about to get out of this unscathed. Got caught in the middle of the air.
30 seconds left.
This is the way that it goes. Wimp as well. The Annihilation perfectly utilized here. Goes in for the first catch, but Greeny able to live here. The ultimate working against them here. The amount of damage being given on that opposite side really was a problem. Wimp though zeroed in on the position for the first. Fox needs to go in for the swing, but going into the waiting arms of Wimp instead.
Spike down.
And Wimp now always ready and prepared to go in for the shots as Prime. Scrambling around, trying to go in for the final kill, but he is just not going to be able to find it. Wimp instead, always the one to be in this clutch situation who can't get the read. And this is the strength of Ace, ladies and gentlemen. Anna, I told you this in the past too. 120 FPS, the strong starts for them are incredible. Once they get read into, there's nothing that 120 FPS can do to try and counteract Ace until they completely change their overall strategy.
Exactly, and I can see that on paper as well because like if you look at the score line, it was 4-1 at one point of time, and since then Ace has not given up a single round, and they're not being able to like follow through with the start that they had, and that's been the problem with 120 FPS since a while now.
Doing the best they can as well for this. One tap god spotted out the first. He's not going to be risking that take anymore. Rotate over, go towards the opposite end of it. It's the hold. Present for one tap god as he can just wait and see how this is going to pan out for him. Weaker weapons in the hands of 120 FPS basically mean that they're not going to be going in for anything too aggressive. They're not jumping in together just yet. They're trying to feel out the map as much as they can, but looking at the positions that they're trying to play into, map control playstyle they're going in for, it's understandable, but they want to fish out a first kill. But look at the members of Ace. None of them are overly aggressive. They're allowing 120 FPS to do whatever the hell they want. Similar to yesterday, it's 120 FPS who need to make that first move, and their first moves are just not working out. It's a one-tap god. Tapping away at almost everyone. His namesake always true as ever. Looking for another blow. He's going to be able to find his fourth. And now hunting down for the ace. Not going to be able to find it. Wimp instead is going to be the one to bring him back down to earth. 6-4, ladies and gentlemen, as Team Ace. They are unstoppable.
That they are nonetheless. 120 FPS, no matter what they're trying to do now, it's just not turning in their favor anymore, and they need to bring some more surprises on the board. It's just 2 more rounds to go, but I don't think it's gonna be enough rewarding just yet. However, they do have the opportunity of going ahead and using those ultimates that they have online. Showstopper could give them an early advantage, but wait a second, they already lost numbers though.
They're not really in the best of positions for it either. NZ losing out on a lot of players pretty quickly as well. Greeny taking a back seat. But they are now stuck. And with all the pauses being taken, 120 FPS A much more slow, methodical playstyle with this hyperactive composition just not really working out in the best of routes. 4 rounds that they have gotten, which seems to be their saving grace. Double Sentinel composition giving them the edge that they need, the defensive hold that they're able to set up, but at the same time, it's not really the defensive hold that's giving them the advantage. It's the pure, raw rush capacity that's being given up by the members of Ace. One Tap God and Masters, they're just showing up out of absolutely nowhere. Getting taps, and it's not even the Sentinel setup that's causing problems for 120 FPS. It's just the raw firepower when it comes down to the aim of the players of Ace that are causing them issues.
Ace is not even giving 120 FPS to go ahead and execute whatever they have in plan. Like yesterday, at least 120 FPS was going to be, was able to go ahead and plant their plans before they were, being completely annihilated post that.
Here.
Today is not looking like that either. Dr. Evil already in a good enough spot. Okay, used that operator shot on the boom bot. Could have also gotten a couple of frags if it was a different weapon, but with an operator, you need to walk back as quickly as possible. There's 3 people coming in. This does not look like a very good bet. And I think the smokes are gonna come down soon enough.
Ouch!
He still gets 2 in a collateral? Wow! That's painful.
The big frag as well in the process. He did shoot out the Euroclone, no call really being given, and Treble just not getting peeked out at all. No one was even watching him. The man's just laughing because he knows that he just got 2 kills, and then no one even cleared him out in the corner. A beautiful first hit here.
The duelists at once.
And he was flashed. And then he just sprayed down for another lineup kill.
Yup.
That's Treble for you.
I don't think that that should be legal to be able to get both the duelists as a collateral, because like, what does the team do after that? You don't have your duelists alive. You're not inside the site yet. Who's gonna make that opening? Who's gonna give you that entry?
You know what you
Then
do
you
in that
just keep
scenario?
getting crushed.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
You just start
That's what
singing
they
that
tried
song
to
and
do.
hope for
And
the
the same
best.
thing happened from the other side as well.
Start singing that song and just allow the motions to go
And
through.
just die to the beats of it. Oh goodness. Ace.
How do you stop one tap God?
Back on.
By Homeboy, of course. Going for the
Like
one
giving him
taps and just
frenzies.
shut it down. Let me able to stabilize though here. Struggle. Trying to work their way in towards the side here. Pushing around from the back. Says he. At the first initial angle, he took the fight. The bait of the Euroclone not really working out in the way that he would have wanted.
30 seconds
They're
left.
able to jump in towards the side beautifully, but Homeboy still causing them so many different problems. Guy's been walking away with murder pretty much. At every turn, this can be an issue. Seems as though Greeny able to work his way back in. Treble on the timing, wants to go in for the swing, down to very low HP. He's going to be able to opt for the plan, but Greeny on the angle takes the fight, but he dies out in the process. They're not going to be able to fight the hit. A little bit of a bait, but Treble, he doesn't fall for it. Low on HP, it's all up to the Treble to try and go in for the hit, but the swing is just better. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen. Does it wonderfully. 8-5 as the clutch should have been there. But Treble, he was just not ready for a swing to come through that quickly. 8-5, ladies and gentlemen. As the members of 120 FPS, they're still in it for the win.
This is not looking good for the side of Ace. The second half start. I mean, They looked strong, but then again, we both know where this is going eventually. A couple more rounds for the side of 120 FPS, and then the snowball effect starts for the side of Ace. And I want that to not be the truth, though. Even though that's something that's easy to predict, I want that to not be the truth. I want to see 120 FPS breaking out of their own shackles and coming back into the game as a team that is able to handle whatever Ace throws at them. This time around, though, it seems like the complete cluster of Team Ace is going to be towards Site A. There is presence around Shar, but that's not where the push is going to come in from. However, the push towards lamps will be faced by tripwires and cameras and greeny nonetheless. The early frag and that too of one tap god nonetheless.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot. Prime as well though, but just be the one to die out here if he's not careful. Is he on the angle? But up against the Spectre, it's always difficult to do a lot. They're not going to be able to find the shots that they need. 8-6 on the scorecards. No plan whatsoever either. As the members of Team Ace, still shaken up a little bit after what happened on that first round. They're able to take that burden off their shoulders for now as they're going into their buys. As for 120 FPS, this bonus pretty much could just set the pace and momentum for the next couple of rounds for them.
Cutting through.
Really good answer, but never mind. It was a force fight coming in from the members of Ace. I did not even notice that initially. So their overall economy is in shambles. They have to go in for a save here. For now though.
The first casualty coming in from the side of 120 FPS. Yes.
Go on. Just as he waiting
Yes,
for this
no.
first initial hit there. As one tap god, now he needs to be the one to take the first initial line of entry. Waiting to try and find an opening going into this. It's Prime. He's waiting for the calm before the storm pretty much. He has a good read of where the members of Ace really want to play into, but with the weaker weapons, they can't really take the risk of going in for swings anymore. Playing in towards the side, it's gonna be a problem as Prime with a Bucky is going to cause issues. They can't clear him out that easily. He took down 2 for all of his troubles. Not really the best of weapons either. Fox's position already revealed and known by Master. Able to capitalize and shut down another one. Shot out in towards the back. NZ on the angle. Spots out the first. He's gonna get shot out in towards the corner. Homeboy. He's trained and ready for that fight. He's gonna be able to find a kill. Rebel unwavered through all of it. And now it's all up to the man that is evil to try and go in for a clutch once again, but the weapon that he has is not best suited for the exact situation. NZ survives with only 10 HP to try and hold on to that one. 8-7. It's 120 FPS. They take another round. They're able to stabilize even further.
They are inching closer and closer to Ace. Ace cannot be very comfortable right now. With a swap of 8-4, you would expect Ace to be in a place where they can turn things around, but it's just the other way around. 120 FPS knows how to turn the tables and also flip them when necessary, like Alex. But yeah, as of now, 120 FPS is in a good enough position to be able to find themselves the grounding that they need, to find themselves the equalizer, and probably even start building up on a lead. Because a little bit of comfort is very essential at this point. A choo-choo train from the side of Ace walking in towards site B, already on B long. Nobody is challenging Hookah as you would expect. It looks like the same exact setups and from the first round of the game, just teams reversed.
That'll be tough though, to say the very least. One tap god already walking in towards the angle. Greeny just did not have a tripwire set up close to try and watch his position. Let's get caught out though in the process here as Fox did hear out the first player as he was inside of the corner there. That blood doesn't heal to give them a slight bit of an edge, but Masters able to catch out Fox, who made a meal out of that one. That's a big frag for them to find Homeboy in the corner. Yoru maybe going for the sound play. He's going to be able to bait out the first.
Last player
In
standing.
the angle already, but as he just takes out the double. Now it's all up to the Homeboy. Try and go in for the clutch of his life. Needs to get the ace to make this one work. The angle, pretty much his, but with all of the members swarming in from every single sideline, it's going to be Drevel who shuts him down instead. 9-7, ladies and gentlemen, as Team Ace, they have the answer now.
Standing in between us.
Slow, methodical lurk up that they're going in for is what's giving them the time that they need to take them out one step at a time. In 120 FPS, they need to be a little bit more proactive in their approach to try and gather information, because Greeny, he had no idea that anyone was playing outside of him.
I think I'm kind of getting an idea of what's happening with 120 FPS, which is putting them in a place which is hard to fight off from. I just mentioned in this round, the setup was very similar to what happened in the first round of the game to begin with. The problem is at that time 120 FPS was on the attacking side, and they did not close off hookah. They did not smoke it off. There was clear angle from the side of Dr. Evil to be able to take those tracks. He just did not, because there was already a lot of presence and he wanted to keep himself concealed. However, when Ace went in for the same thing, they made sure to smoke off hookah. They made sure to make sure that any player from the side of hookah does not have a clear angle onto the players inside. So what I'm trying to say here is Ace is not forgetting their fundamentals when trying to go ahead and execute something different or something more advanced. They are not giving up on the basics of the game. While 120 FPS is not as much concerned about the basics and is more focused towards whatever innovation they're bringing into the game. I think that's where they're messing up a little bit. Do you agree?
There.
Absolutely. They're in a tough spot.
Okay.
When they're in positions like this, they're going to start to make a lot more mistakes than you think. And they're just doing whatever the hell they want. Just look at this. Look at the read coming out from them. It's scary, to say the very least. They're waiting for Ace to come into their waiting arms, and the fact that Ace are doing that so willingly is an issue. As he thought he had the timing over towards the first, but not really here. As Ace, they have the read. They went in for the bait and switch play with Wimp getting one player over from the opposite side. He's just gonna wait on the angle. He's just gonna tap everyone away. 10-7. As Ace, this is the team that they're going up against. A team that has what it takes to go the distance in almost every turn. Their adaptability is their biggest strength. They're showcasing to 120 FPS that when it comes down to adaptability, you're almost impossible to stop.
Agree on that completely. The way Ace functions, again, we've both said it time and again, the way they make the adjustments after every single round is just stupendous. Yet again, they have rearranged their utilities, but with Greeny being picked off that quickly, there is very little resistance on side B. I don't think Ace is still trying to rotate, though I think they should. It's a good idea to go to side B right now with Greeny being picked off already, no reinforcements remaining. The showstopper is already in action. I don't think it's gonna get anything, neither space nor people, because with the smoke already being deployed, that's not gonna give them the result they wanted. But would have got quite a nice entry, not a good result anyhow.
Standing.
Just got completely ran over on the A side. The annihilation was utilized, so was the showstopper, but none of the ultimates got anything. It's the weapons in the hands of the players that really found the advantage, but because of the annihilation and the showstopper being utilized, they were able to find a lot of free space to play around with. No one was playing towards the close corner positions of bench or even on triple box. Everyone was inside of the back end of sight. So it was very easy to telegraph exactly where the members of 120 FPS would be. Don't forget, this is the home ground pickup of 120 FPS. So the fact that they took this map and they're struggling this much when your opponents have a double sentinel composition on the opposite side, it is this best of 3 is possibly going to be a one-sided show if they're not careful. They need to start taking a lot more of a forward-side initiative for this particular map because they're falling flat. They're making a lot of very generalized mistakes. If they want to go in for push, if they want to establish early map control, they need to start doing it together. Swing out of angles as 3 players instead of just taking them one at a time. Because your economy as well, you need to stabilize it quickly. This is pretty much the last round for you. If your opponents are able to get onto the 12, they're 1 round away from taking this entire map.
Jump. Hit them when they're not looking.
It's very close to victory for the side of Team Ace, and that's when FPS needs to just go ahead and give their all to every single round that's to come. Homeboy just taking up way too much space early on into the game. They have forced Team Ace to not invade through the long area towards side B, but being good at the gun,
Ouch.
they've still been able to clear out the hookah. There isn't a lot of resistance anymore towards side B yet again, but that's not the place where they want to execute. They're always interested in side A more. And now knowing that side B is completely empty, there's going to be rotation from the side of Greeny as well.
Cutting through.
You're gonna need to see how this one's gonna go for them.
Fake teleport.
Homeboy's on the angle, he's just waiting for the first initial fight here. Plan's gonna give them a lot to play around with. Even then, Drevel not really holding the best of positions. Want to be spotted on the corner. Homeboy's gonna be the first one to take the kill. He's looking for the ace. He's not gonna be able to get it. NZ just stole it away from him, but that's completely fine. Because at least the team is able to get the round. Ace's postman positioning was just a little bit too shaky there. And you can see NZ's face. NZ's like, yes, you're not gonna get the ace anytime soon, buddy. I'm the superstar of this roster. 11-8 is 120 FPS. They have showcased that they have what it takes when it comes down to their raw synergistic approach to this double duelist. But even then, Ace, their post-spawn positioning was just a little bit too questionable at the end of the day.
Agree. This time around, there's going to be win factors for the side of 120 FPS. They do have 2 ultimates online already, and both of them pretty useful for the way 120 FPS likes to play. They will have quite a lot of information, but they should be able to capitalize on it, and that's where the whole game will linger on. A nice start. One of the ultimates taken out of the game already, the other one's already been utilized. There's a lot of information that's being taken up, but then again, Euro is always being followed when he tries to go for these plays.
They're in a pretty bad position here, Drevel. Trying to fight in towards the angle. He's not going to be able to do much here. It's Homeboy. Finding the first initial hit here already as NZ. In the back lines for it. Limp on the angle. Tries to go in for the swing. He's going to be able to find the kill. But one by one, Fox. He's turning everything on its head. Is he on the fight? He's going to be able to take his time for this. Post planned, beautiful for the second hit, time taken away, and Ezzy playing it cool, calm, and collected! He missed out on the bullets, but that's completely fine because the spike is the thing that will kill him instead. Oh god, I thought that could have gone badly when Ezzy started to miss those shots, but it's completely fine because Ace, they still get the round. 12-8, ladies and gentlemen. At the finish line, it's going to be the members of Ace. One more round, and they take this map away.
It's so close to victory. 12-8. There's literally only one mistake. One single mistake from the side of 120 FPS and Ace can take everything away. Both the guiding lights, blinding everyone around. A quick frag from the side of 120 FPS, already giving them an edge. Information came from the side of Ace is going to be low. But they still have their
They had
firepower.
the bounce for it? Wait, he bounced it?
Seems like it.
One enemy remaining.
Oh goodness.
Yeah,
Ace is
that-
cleaning it up.
Attackers win.
yeah, this is
That
W
just
their
did
way
some damage.
forward.
Yeah, that just did some damage, but it's still about that's about it. They couldn't really do much. Ace just came in like government cleaners, and they just cleaned up everything. It was a very very quick round. Didn't expect that for the last one.
Yeah, they had a bunch of ultimates to play into that one as well, but I do believe that 120 FPS after that loss on that last round just kind of gave up to see what could happen when it came down to the next map. That's kind of how it is sometimes when your team really knows that they don't really have much of a chance playing into the last round of a particular map. They will mentally prepare themselves for that next one. This was a pretty sad tale to say the very least, but with the strong ultimates in the hands of Wimp, having that annihilation ready to instantly pull a player out from any particular corner they could be sitting in, this was a very smart play. Ace, they did their homework, plus they have a composition that can really break almost any form of a strong chokehold that you could have in any particular site. Because normally what happens on the map of Mine, you have players sitting in corners that you need to clear out in a lot of instances, and even when you gain information on them, you can't really do much to try and stop them. This is where the deadlock really comes into play. You have that sound sensor always ready to clear out those close proximity corners, stun them out, then you can go in for a rush. The grav net as well, giving you ample amount of opportunity to stop attackers from instantly taking over a particular sight line. The wall is gorgeous as well. Plus, when you have that ultimate, your attack site just becomes a lot more simpler if you know how to utilize the ultimate properly. You can clear out 2 different corners all by yourself without any risk whatsoever, and you're forcing your opponents to utilize the bullets inside of their chambers to try and stop the ultimate from gaining value. So you make your general hit a lot more better and a lot more easier for almost everyone to do. As we jump on down over into the crucial moments, we're going to be able to see that replayed once again. Wimp, I do believe, is a superstar for the entire team for that particular reason. His deadlock alone is one of the main reasons why they were able to take this victory. Other than, of course, Revel just being an absolute beast on that sky.
Wimp was definitely quite impressive all through the game. I had my doubts about a deadlock pick. I did. I'm not gonna lie, but Wimp did an amazing job. Did make sure that he was able to, slow players down in their tracks. Made sure that he was able to go ahead and get those kills as well. This was the most flashy moment of the game. Dr. Evil just going ahead, getting those 4 frags. The early 2 duelists taken up in the first shot of the game itself. It was beautiful. It was beautiful the way Ace was playing. However, I did enjoy 120 FPS's mind games as well. It's just that they couldn't last long enough.
Yeah, it's just a sad tale for them. Same problems again. They have a good composition, but unless they're able to finish the game pretty early on, as soon as Ace just has that proper read, what do? You just can't do much. We're just in a pretty bad position overall as winning moments, as you can already tell. The raw utility in the hands of Ace just easily turned everything on its head. One Tap God leading the charge here, being on that deal is not that big of a surprise, but the unsung heroes have to be Wimp and Revel here. Both of them played their hearts out. They were able to pull off many individualistic plays that got them a bunch of points.
True that. A very good ACS as well for the side of One Tap God. You've been praising this man for a while now, and I can see why. I can firsthand see why. There's a good number on his chart. It's a great stat, and he is not only that but also the MVP of this map at least. We're soon gonna walk into the second one and find out if he also is able to take away the series MVP. But yeah, One Tap God beautifully done from his side as well. There were so many times where we saw One Tap God come in and take his 4Ks. While as a duelist I do expect a lot of frags from a person, I don't expect 4Ks. I don't expect aces, because as a duelist you are the first line of contact alongside being the first person to find a head. So I expect duelists to die a little sooner.
It's tough to say at the very least that it's just one tap god, right? I completely agree with you. You'll have a lot of first stats, but at the same time, you'll be able to find a lot of the first kills as well. 6 first kills to his name right across this first initial map. He had a lot of impact going into this race, and that's just one tap god for you. We already knew that he would be one of the driving forces for the team, but at the same time, I didn't expect all of his other team members to really be able to rally behind him at every turn as well. Utility usage was perfect, and a couple of moments were a little bit shaky for them, but the best thing about Ace as a team is even if they're shaky in one round, they're instantly going to be able to bounce back with a better game plan right in the second one. They don't need time to adapt. And there are very few teams in our region that are able to do something like that.
I agree, and Ace being one of them. They've definitely executed a beautiful game nonetheless, and I have high hopes for them going into the second one. However, on Haven, we know how the game has been for the side of 120 FPS. You've already mentioned what the drawbacks of their gameplay and their composition are. If you were a player from the side of 120 FPS itself and you had heard what you already said about their gameplay and the restrictions of it, what would be a composition change you would want to go for?
I don't think there is a particular composition change that they need. I think it's more like a switch in their playstyle. Their playstyle has been a bit too one-dimensional. I love what they're going in for. Their compositions are fine, I would say, at the end of the day. They're just waiting way too long. They want their opponents to make that first move, but when you allow your opponents to make that first move, they get into a much more complacent position where they can do whatever the hell they want. They have the real estate. They don't really have to invest a lot of utility to try and go in for attack side pushes, or even on the defensive side, they have utility to try and stop you from even taking a rush. If you yourself are not trying to take that initiative to bait out all the utility that your opponents have, you will never make a double duelist composition work. The double duelist composition is a composition that allows you to take a lot of aggressive rushes. If you can't go in for a rush, you have to try and utilize some of your own utility to bait out that util that can stop you. And I'm really hoping as we go over into the next map, they really understand their shortcomings here, because they don't really have that safety net anymore. There's no lower bracket after the lower bracket. You have to make things work. And as we're going to be setting up game number 2 for you, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check the links down below in the description as we go over into a very short little break. We're going to be back after a short word from our sponsors.
When are you gonna upgrade your system? Alright, let's do this.
Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45, but it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, you can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42, 42, 42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X 3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.
We're back already, ladies and gentlemen. Here at the Esports Club, there are no long breaks. We are only going to take the shortest ones possible for the Esports Club Showdown Series Season 5 Valorant, powered by Crucial by Micron, with our chief gift partners, TEC Gaming, and our media partners, Gossip.gg. Back in towards the action already for the second map of this best of 3 extravaganza for you, ladies and gentlemen, back at home. It's been a journey, I would say, for the members of Team Ace with a lot of technical difficulties, yes, but did it really stop their overall gameplay and their raw dominance? Not whatsoever. For 120 FPS, they really need to find an answer soon, because if they do not, this next map could just be their last, not just for the best of 3, but also for the entire tournament, because do not forget, this is the lower bracket run.
It is, and there's no more coming back from here. And that's a sad news. That's a sad news specifically for 120 FPS in current scenario, because there's already one map net for the side of Team Ace. They have one map in their pockets. Even if they lose this one, they have one more chance to go forward, but 120 FPS does not. Do you think they will be prepared enough for this? Because Haven, as we were discussing even right before the break, is one of the maps where they do not have the best experience yet, and they haven't had the best playstyle either. Now, I mean, for a team who's used to of fast hits, for them to go ahead and wait a little, slow down a little, is slightly more easier an adaptation than for a team who's used to of waiting a lot to go ahead and execute a fast hit.
That is so
I'm wondering if there's gonna be any opportunity for 120 FPS to just try and make that adaptation in a whim, because that's not enough time for them to go ahead and learn that skill. There's literally a few more minutes before we walk into the map.
Yeah, another issue that 120 FPS have, like, I'm gonna build upon the concept that you did place out, that as a team they have a lot of problems going in for that fast hit rate. Then why are they playing a composition that really relies on them to be proficient in that fast hit playstyle? They can play a lot more of a control heavy composition in general. They're contradicting their own playmaking potential whenever they're doing something like that. As a double duelist, I understand maybe you want to play for a pick so that you have an easier time trying to go in for executes, but what do you do when your opponents are not trying to take that advantage against you? You're in a tough spot. We're going to be jumping on down over towards the agent selection though right now, ladies and gentlemen. The map of Haven in front of your screens already, and it will be the ISO composition once more. This could throw the members of Team Ace into a loop, just as yesterday when it was the nearest bus stand, or it could just be a place where Team Ace, with their raw synergistic approach to their gameplay, could just be the ones to take it away.
I think Team Ace won't be thrown off at all, because they definitely would have watched yesterday's match. As you said, they're very professional teams with protocols in place. I don't think they're walking into any match without any prep. However, again, I mean, I wish 120 FPS had swapped one of their duelists for an initiator or a sentinel, because when you have a dual initiator or a dual sentinel setup, you can actually rely more on being in a place where you can hold back a little, where you can go ahead and collect more information before you actually make your move, and probably even get more util dumped from the other side. But being on the defensive side, being in a place where you're having two duelists on your team, I don't think there's an early advantage that can be built from the side of 120 FPS with the slow executes that they have. I don't even believe they will have too much util remaining towards the end of the round to be able to retake any plants that are already placed by Team Ace. So I'm kind of scared for 120 FPS right now, even though they do give a very exciting and innovative lineup altogether. I don't think that's enough to get their boat rowing.
You'll just have to wait and see on which side of the spectrum this is going to be going towards, because in certain situations, this double duelist composition, yeah, it has its strengths, but I do believe that the members of Team Ace have got to the heads of their opponents. If they're going to play slow and systematic, they're going to start falling apart in more ways than one.
Exactly.
That's what we are really afraid of for this particular matchup. We're going to be jumping on down in towards the game already. Everyone's loaded up and prepped for it all. This neon composition, it's gonna be a difficult one to try and stop. It's all up to Greeny pretty much. If Greeny has that proper read of exactly where the members of Ace are gonna be running into, he's gonna be able to stop it. But the question is, for how long is he gonna be able to find that proper read? If he does it every single time, it's a prediction gone in the making.
Well, we'll
Ouch.
find out how that turns out. It's an early loss for the side of 120 FPS. The controller being missing, there's definitely not much to stop the team from coming into the site. And look at that, they just have frags after frags. It's going to be a flawless start. And it is.
I question why the Omen went into her short, into her in a very precarious situation. He has no way of getting out. That is not the position that you want to play in, Prime. And to lose your Omen that early, that's just going to allow the Neon to do whatever the hell she wants, because then she has the proper lineup for her sons too.
True that. I'm surprised. Okay, 120 FPS has a double dual list composition. They are supposed to be the ones with the fast hits and everything. They are not doing it. Ace has gone in with 2 initiators, but the space 120 FPS is giving them is so much that they don't even have to use those utilities to find themselves an entry. It was such an easy walk in the park for Ace to be able to go ahead, make that plant and just pick heads after heads. I don't think they used anything other than their guns.
Absolutely. It's kind of where the game
Look at
goes
that, the
here.
plant is in already yet again. It doesn't seem like 120 FPS is even trying to contest this one. They know it's not the place to lose anything. They're just gonna take that loss bonus, it seems.
I'm playing it risky here. Understandably so. Zezzy walking up for the advantage as they want to see if they can find the first kill. Greeny, regardless of it, finds the hit, but he doesn't really have a weapon to play around with. On the angle, it's going to be Masters who does find the trade here regardless. So with the stronger trade potential, they're able to make things work out beautifully. Fox,
Wow.
none the wiser for it. They're able to find the hit here. The last 2 players, they're just going to be dying out to the spike. Last 3, sorry. They do not want to give any of the ultimate points away to their opponents. Playing the macro well, the members of 120 FPS, they understand as soon as the ults come online for Ace, this game is just going to get 10 times more difficult.
That it is, that it is. There's full stack of Vandals on the opposite side towards 120 FPS, while Ace is going to be running on 3 Vandals, a Bulldog and a Spectre. There is definitely a advantage on the weaponry side for the side of 120 FPS, but so far if they have not already read how Ace is playing, I don't think there's much that can happen there. Early information being collected from the side of 120 FPS. Finally, they have something to slow Ace down in the tracks a little bit, but just a little bit. It's not enough yet. Now it's enough. Now it's a good start.
They do have the answer that they wanted, Masters. Getting peppered down a little bit here. On the angle for the fight, but he misses the shot. That's a bad whiff. As NZ able to capitalize instead. It's all up to Wim to maybe pull off something big here. One-way smoke's gonna stop him from it. I like the positions that they go in for. This is a good one-way smoke to have. Something that I didn't really know about, but overall, they do have the answer for it. Wimp, you want to find the first catch, the aim on this guy, and the experience that he has under his belt. Always a treat to watch. So the last 2 initiators need to make the play here together. Zahana, I don't see the chances of this round going in their favor, but I do believe they can deal a good chunk of damage in the process regardless for it.
30 seconds left. One
True
enemy
that.
remaining.
This was a fight that should have been avoided, but well, Fox is going to be able to get both of them, and with only 2 people lost on the side of 120 FPS, they are going to have their first round in hand. Now, this was one of the rounds where they had a lot of investment in from the side of 120 FPS, the first round ever that they got the right kind of weapons to begin with. Being able to march forward from it with 3 of their weapons still in their hands, I would say it's a win.
Absolutely. Victory that they can always rely on. It's one tap god. He's gonna be the one to run straight forward if he wants to here. Or he'll risk being taken just yet. The vulnerable being thrown out by the ISO. Even then, waiting for the initial hit here. Fox. The post quarters angle as he wants to try and deal a little bit of chip damage here to anyone who tries to pick up the orb. As long as they are trying to establish a bit of control, that should be completely fine. Cutting noise from either side here is Ace. They're trying to bait out a couple of the players over towards the opposite side of the map, allowing Drevel. One tap got to be a little bit closer for the position. It's tight spray. It's Greeny's not going to be able to find the frag though. But Ezzy gets a good chunk of information of exactly where the sniper is, and he swings out for the one tap. Oh my god, Ezzy! The man has no chill. And he's also going to get a neural theft off in the process.
I know exactly.
Exactly. Not only did he get the frag, but also the neural theft, and now he's also used it. Now there's complete information of where the players are, and look at one time God capitalizing on that information. A quick blind right after, and then utilization on that by getting those frags up. This is looking like a beautiful game. This is how you play a slow game. This is how you conserve your utilities, get the other team to dump theirs, and then capitalize on it. But you can't do that if you have two duelists instead of two initiators.
Good god, man.
Yeah. It's been exhausting for the side of 120 FPS. They need to pick up a few pages from the side of Ace.
That has got to hurt. Never want to be in a situation like this ever. For one tap God. Not really the best of positions for him yet, but it's completely fine. It's known to be exact. But with NZ over towards the pack, he's just gonna be able to walk out! A little bit of a problem there. NZ able to finish it off. Masters does find another kill, and now it's all up to one tap God to try and survive into this one. One taps over towards the first. He's trying to juke out a couple of people, but his movement not really working out in the way that he would have hoped for. He did waste the time though, but his weapon going into the favor of the defenders, giving them a chance to go in for a possible clutch with the flank coming through. But look at the tripwire placement in towards window as well. They'll immediately be able to see exactly which player is going to be on the cross corner. Tripwire broken through. Masters over towards the top lane, but Homeboy still finds the shot. Good readjustment overall. As now, with the 3v3, this retake seems very much probable for them.
I'm liking the window positioning for the breach. It's gonna be a good, addition. If they do feel like the pressure is increasing towards the room, they could always come from outside, but that was not required because Dr. Evil will still be able to pop all the heads off, and with that 3k, Sova will shut the route in the side of Team Ace yet again. This was a very painful fight to watch. Both of them missing shots after shots.
That's fine. You can't really say that we don't miss that many shots as well.
Hey, I'm not even gonna compare myself.
Yeah, you can compare Azora instead. He misses way more.
Shots.
You can compare Azora instead. He misses way more. Speaking from personal experience.
Got it. Got it. I only have in-game experience.
Hello? Never mind. Okay, bro. Didn't think the headmaster is going to be joining us for that one. Channeling his inner Manoj. But jumping it out over and back towards the game, ladies and gentlemen. Tactical timeout will be taken by the members of 120 FPS to just stabilize their overall approach for this one. Because, in a way, right, 120 FPS, they have been, I would say, on the much more shakier side. NZ in particular, he has not been taking a lot of more of those aggressive duels that we know him to take. That fear factor slowly adding up. Unless they see a change here, that's going to be a tough one for them. But with Ezzy taking that first kill too, it's so difficult for them. This is NZ for you. He's able to take the kill, but it's very risky. Now he has to rely on his kill contract to even go in for a kill anymore. He's down to 3 HP, so he can't risk his actual body. What did he pick up?
Well, it is gonna be Masters, and he wins that fight. Lucky for him, the numbers are still rolling in towards the favor of 1 FPS when it comes to man count, but I don't believe that it's gonna be that easy again. One tap God goes into his ultimate, gets one more head off. It's gonna be a 2v2. However, the plant is already in. All they need to do is buy enough time. And I think they're gonna be successful in that. Not only that, they'll also get the frags on board.
That's just the strength of the Neon.
Whenever Neon is on her overdrive, it reminds me of Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. It's a shell shock. Okay, you've not seen it. Wrong audience. Never mind.
Not the wrong audience, that's even I know. But still, why the... I mean, I kinda get it, but at the same time. I'm thinking of the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. From the original show. And it seems as though Neon... like, look at what Tep got, man. He's just going at the speed of light. He's already in the side. He was by himself, mind you. He was all by himself. Only the breach gave him a stun, and that's it. He's inside of the side, running around, doing whatever the hell he wants. Your bait at its finest, Masters!
A 5v2, 120 FPS, losing players after players, and this time around they are left with just the two that they were experimenting with on a completely unorthodox lineup, the Yoru and the ISO, both the duelists surviving towards the end on a post-plan scenario. Now again, whenever there's a post-plan scenario, the defenders need utilities that can be deployed and dumped to be able to go ahead and make that retake possible. The utilities that are equipped on duelists are not the ones that they're talking about in that point of time.
A little bit shaky there on the middle start, but flawless round at that. 1-6, ladies and gentlemen. We were kind of prepared for this when the map of Haven rolled around. 120 FPS really needed to find the map of Bind here. Because this composition is technically their own kryptonite. To go up against a Neon-based comp, it's just so difficult, and I don't even blame them. A lot of the top teams in the entire world also have problems going up against this composition because speed at which the executes happen, you're not going to be able to read at any time. That's the strength of the Neon. She just breaks every form of mental timing that you have built up, and you need to play reactively. And if your reactive play is not on the same level as a Neon player, you're not going to be able to counter him out at all. It's tough to say the very least, but Team Ace, they're working well.
True that, true that. In this round though, I believe that 120 FPS might be just able to dump their ultimates one after the other and, find something from it. They generally do rely on that, but well, Homeboy being picked up already, the one that they needed in the beginning itself to go ahead and collect all that information that they can work upon, seems like things are already falling down for them. Maybe next round.
Pretty much everything that they would have wanted. Stun. Perfect. Greenie needs to run on away. Survive for that hit. But Greenie still through the box. He's going to be able to deal the damage that he needs to. Still a little bit of a problem here. Doesn't really want to give away the position of his camera just yet. Wire broken down. Now, 120 FPS. They are going to be playing in for this retake here. No real ultimates to give them a very significant advantage, but Into the Shadows could give them the information that they need. Retake to be started. A much more slower approach with time ticking away now.
Oh no. One tap God, the positioning is just so good. Look at him! He's
the man straight up
around
smoked
with
the
the player
water.
120 FPS now. Yeah. He's literally toying around now.
He's legitimately a criminal undercover. Like, look at him. He's running and gunning and he still gets that and then just slides into the DMs of poor old Fox. Frictionless as ever.
Well,
That's the Neon for
the
you.
way it was To that. The way it was executed, that DM did not even send for direct message anymore. It was deathmatch.
This is rough. Unless they find an answer soon. One tap God and his shenanigans are just gonna get worse.
I think 120 FPS is still trying to grasp what the question is, let alone finding the answer.
Gotta go.
Oh no.
And see, though, I think he finally found out what the answer could be like. But even then, it's not gonna be that simple. They need to get the plant down as soon as they possibly can. Masters on the position, has the smoke to completely block off. They have in sightline. No real utility just yet, and it's all up to Masters. But Fox just has the better weapon when it comes down to going in for those body shots. 2-7, ladies and gentlemen, as 120 FPS finally have the positions that they need to go in for the hit. As for them, timing is key. Even then, they've lost out on so many of the rounds, and as they move in towards the attacking side slowly, 3 more rounds is what differentiates them, and they need all 3 to have a fair shot at making their attack work.
Right here.
Exactly. Team Ace, I think what they have right now is a little more than just confidence. And that's where things fell apart, because in the last round, One Tap God just did not have to go ahead and take that fight. Even right now, he did not have to. He's being a little more reckless now, and that's resulting in a very early demise of the Neon, who's also one of the major win factors for the team. Not only great at the aim, but also just very swift nonetheless.
I know exactly.
Doing well for it, though. Fox towards the back, and it's gonna be Drevel who's going in for the bullet, schemed outside at the worst possible time. The spray just does not connect. It's all down to the 1v1. The clutch master for the team doing whatever the hell he can to go in for this victory. Wimp can go in for a free plant here as well if he wants to. Over on towards the back, not the best of plant positions, I would say, end of the day, as Wimp. What is the plan for him? He's actually going to take a fight instead of tucking in. I'm worried. I think that Wimp's going to die here. Knowing Fox, he's going to swing into this. Never mind. Stand corrected.
Team Ace. You just mentioned that 120 FPS needed all the rounds that are to come. They've already lost 1. And now 2 more to go. With not a very good economy on the side of 120 FPS to be able to carry forward with this one. So I guess it's not looking as good as you would expect. The first half is definitely not in their favor.
To the way, ladies and gentlemen. Team Ace now. And they're in a situation of their own, I would say. They have all of the advantages that they would have hoped for, but that overconfidence on One Tap God could be their biggest downfall. 17 kills for One Tap God. Just look at him. On that Neon, he is absolutely unstoppable. Before, we used to say that One Tap God on the Jet was the biggest threat. No longer. Because the playstyle that One Tap God has, the self-sufficient role that he wants to build upon, he can do it so well with the Neon. Neon's one of the few duelists in the entire game, other than Phoenix, that can set up their own frags. One Tap God, he just does it beautifully.
I don't know, man. I don't know how it's gonna turn out for the side of 120 FPS. It's not the worst of rounds. They do not have good weaponry, yes, but they do have their ultimates online, which can give them way too much information. But then again, I wouldn't want to invest those in this round particularly. So I think 9-3 could be the scoreline we are looking at in the first half. But yeah, with the way One Tap God is playing, it's scary. Nobody has even an exact half of One Tap God's frags from the opposite team. Nobody reaches that close.
happen. You can't always quantify what could be waiting for you on the opposite end of it. One tap gone. Already taking the early duel here. Masters. The back lines for it. It's one by one, the bodies just keep on falling. 120 FPS, they're taking their time to try and go in for setups, but it just doesn't matter. You need to win out on your duels when it comes down to the aim. If you don't, you're going to be in a tough call, in a tough position. NZ, he does get the kill, but he takes a stray bullet in the process. They know his exact position, and they are just going to keep on fighting. And one tap god, he's just doing whatever the hell he wants once again. Jumping around, jiggling in and out. Just adding salt to the wounds. And the burns, you can feel it all the way on the side of the audience. This is one tap god for you, ladies and gentlemen. When he is confident, there is nothing in this world that can stop him.
Oh goodness, the way one tap god is literally denting the morale on the side of 120 FPS. He's not just getting frags, he's literally making them see how good he is, even at fighting without his gun. He's literally just running around and surviving so many times. Oh my god. Okay. Finally he gets a shutdown. I'm not upset about that frag at all.
Masters? I mean, sure, I guess. Ezzy missed out on a Q shot there. And then the answer that they need. Also believe the 9-3 is pretty high here. Ana. The prediction could just be there as Wim. He has no idea what to expect or what's coming in from the back. 9-3 on the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen. It's 120 FPS. They get the round, but I do believe that this was purely because of one thing and one thing alone. Ace, you just wanted to get this over with. You just ratted towards the side and hoped that, hey, I'll win all of my gunfights. But instead, not going in with a plan really caused their team to just fall apart in this round.
The way 120 FPS has played so far, I think there isn't a lot of confidence in them. But however, for a slow team to move into a fast-paced game with so little confidence is going to be slightly difficult, but I'm praying for the best because I want to see more and more surprises coming in from the side of 120 FPS.
You just might as well see the surprises. With the technical pause now being taken, both teams are given a bit of time to just sort out their problems, plus sort out their overall compositional problems as well here. It's 120 FPS. We have seen time and time again that their team just falls short on one thing and one thing alone. Their aggression. If the team is not really able to aggress properly together as a roster, I do not see how they're going to be able to turn everything around from here.
It is definitely going to be a complete reset for both the teams. The tech pause is going to give enough time for 120 FPS to go ahead and reset their minds, go back into the game as if it was a fresh start. That's the only way for them to go ahead and make the best of this half. I believe that's the move to go.
Partially, yes, but then again, just gonna need to wait and see. So for now, I really have to do praise the members of Team 120 FPS on one thing though. They know how to play the buddy system really well. They are trying, I would say at the very least, to play the two-player situation where one player is opting to go in for the duel together with somebody else on their side, but the utility conjunction just is not working that well as you would have expected, especially from Homeboy and NZ. You would expect Homeboy and NZ to play together a lot more with the composition that they do have. One of the biggest weaknesses that ISO has in his arsenal is that he doesn't have a flash to give him any form of setup. That's where he has to rely on the Euro to be that secondary initiator for the team to give him the setups that they require. But Homeboy on the other side, he's been trying to be self-sufficient in his own regard, but that's not how it's going to work, not up against a team of Ace's caliber. You are completely going to be reliant on one thing. Your flashes to give you that opening kill. Hopefully on the attack side, that is kind of what the game plan's going to be like, where both of them are playing together over towards C long, but look at the stack in C. They've read into this. And Team Ace, they're probably ready for this first hit.
Does seem like it, does seem like it. They are playing a little more proactive than you would expect. Not gonna push in yet though. They know exactly what's going on. Not gonna fall for that fake hero. Still gonna hold back. They do have very sneaky positions on site C. I think it's about time players from site A start covering more and more space and getting more and more intel for themselves.
Seconds left.
The site C action has begun, and hence exactly the follow through from site A. You can already see Sova trying to acquire more and more area, and now everyone is gonna squeeze into site B. Ooh, Prime!
Why destroy? 10 seconds
They
left.
already have the open sideline too.
Enemy remaining.
Couple of kills here and there, and the members of 120 FPS are able to turn everything on its head. But even then, look at the map control. This is the strength of Team Ace. They just had the entire map under their belt, and there was absolutely nothing that you could do to try and stop them. Prime did get the 4 key, but the thing is, Prime is one of those characters that, yeah, you get closer to the ultimate, but what will Into the Shadows even do for you?
Exactly.
120 FPS, they're just not really been given much of a chance to do anything. Their map control looks to be subpar at best.
Go, go, go.
They need to start going in faster. This is not gonna work out for them. If they're gonna play the slow game, they're gonna lose on time. We've already seen it once. We might see it again. Now the weaponry on the side of defense is even better, and that just makes things even more difficult. With the marshal in hand, you can see Neon already waiting NZ's arrival. But there's 3 people. Definitely not a fight they should participate in. Nope. I think One Tap God is getting a little bit too excited to go become a part of some fights. But as long as the team is able to cover up for it, it's okay.
He wants to take the duels. He's confident for it. That confidence has given him all of the frags that he has right now, so... At the end of the day, not the end of the world. But Fox, he is a bit scared to take these fights. Paranoia in hand and ready as they want to try to take over as much control as they possibly can over towards A lobby. They're not giving an inch of space away. That's going to deter any of the attackers from taking this early fight. As he in towards the back line, stun, absolutely perfect and gorgeous for the fight. And it's going to be Ezzy who will just capitalize it at every
30 seconds
turn.
left.
120 FPS. They look to be done for. Waiting for the inevitable here is going to be Prime. See, he will be able to find a plant at the bare minimum, giving his team some extra cash to play with in the following round. But even then, going for a clutch, almost close to impossible.
Goodness gracious, the way the game is going right now. 120 FPS, it seems like they're gonna be looking for their scattered pieces and probably not even find them before the game is over. This is a very, very hard climb for the side of 120 FPS to go ahead and even, put themselves in a place where they can expect for an equalizer. I'm not seeing that potential coming in from their side. However, the weaponry on the side of 120 FPS is going to be pretty good right now. They can make advantage of that, but it's not too bad on the side of Team Ace either. It's not too bad. Still good enough.
I must wait a moment.
They need to make things work as slowly as they can. The slow approach is their best one, honestly. They can't go in for the rush as they would have hoped for. Worst of positions here for them. It's one tap God. He understands that. They're not even going in for any form of a swing just yet. As he, on the timing, has the cage to give him a tiny bit of space to play with even more. As for now, it's just a full-scale reset. No real risks being taken here coming in from either side. This is just a waiting game. How do they want to play it? Taking their sweet time for this one, as he does find the kill, but he needs to peek out a little bit deeper if he wants to go in for the hit here. One tap God, turned around in the worst possible second as Masters. He's going to be one to fall and be the casualty, but even then, 120 FPS, they are one man down. The man advantage still favors the defenders.
30 seconds left.
That it does, and the more and more advantage Ace has, the more and more confidence they will have. Dr. Evil already aware of the locations of the players coming towards him. Greeny might not have the best of his times right now. Fox can try and cover, but not really. Look at that spray. Already got one. Fox still in the game
Last player standing.
in a 1v2. Not enough time though. Not enough players either.
Match point.
They're not in the best of spots now, are they? Losing
Far
rounds
from
at
it.
almost every turn. This is difficult.
This is the best. This should do.
Trying to maybe fill out a couple of the gaps here, but even then, it's just not going to be enough. With everyone looking towards the opposite side of the map, it's already done and dusted. Round just started, it's pretty much over here already. One tap God. Just jiggling out, strafing, the jitteriness that you would have expected from a player to be one of their biggest weaknesses. It's one tap God's strength. He's unstoppable. And then there's Ezzy just peeking out from garage and getting both of the kills almost instantaneously. You can't make this up. The team is unstoppable to say the very least as Team Ace. They want that rematch up against X-Crew because X-Crew sent them down here. They are prepared to make sure they go the distance to shut them down again and again.
Absolutely, seems like that. Seems like that. The way Ace is playing, I'm already surprised at the fact that they are in the lower brackets. I would expect them to have a flawless run on the upper brackets, to be very honest. But yeah, they have definitely shut the team completely down. 120 FPS might really have to go back to the drawing board, rethink if they're gonna wanna continue with this composition because their playstyle does not match up with it at all. And if they choose to, then I think they need to start working on their strategies and their moves because this is not the playstyle that they can go forward with alongside this composition. Not only this map, every single map, I've seen them being very cautious, very slow and very held back for most of the time. And if they're going to do that, then I want them to go in with a set of utils which can draw more and more utils out from the opposite side as well, so that they can have an easier time towards entering and planting, or even being on the defensive side, being able to hold on to their utils in a form that they can help themselves be in a place where they can diffuse and, like, you know, again, get their numbers up. I'm not seeing that yet.
Yeah, they're in a pretty tough and precarious situation for 120 FPS, but one of the saddest things has to be that they're kind of out of the tournament now. There's no more second chances from these lower bracket runs, and as we relive all the moments to send off the members of 120 FPS and to see exactly what was the main reasons why we witnessed a win coming in from Ace, it's just, I don't know what else to say here other than Team Ace just had the overall better composition and synergy to play around with. No matter what happens down the line in the future, you just need to keep things going for your team and just adapt and learn into the newer strategies. I like the innovation that they were trying to put up with the compositions that they had with the ISO coming into play with the Yoru, but you need to understand one of the key points that even if you have setups like this, it doesn't mean much if you are not really fit for that exact same playstyle. And as we are going to be jumping down over into the crucial moments, that playstyle matters even more. And as you can tell, that one tap god, he picked a character and he picked a setup that will allow him to frag up. And he did it all by himself.
That he did. The way One Tap God was shining on this particular map is unmatched. It was miraculous to watch nonetheless, and such a sight for sore eyes. But yes, there was definitely a lot that could happen from the side of 120 FPS, which I found to be missing. And I hope they fix all of those, loopholes. I hope they plaster out and even out all of their ways and come back again for the next season. We're not stopping, are we?
Doing well here, so overall 120 FPS. It's a sad send-off for you guys, but at the same time it was a learning experience as well. Found out all of your problems and you're able to really understand what's really holding you back as a team. It's not the individual playstyle. You guys do have the aim to go toe-to-toe up against every single one of the players of Ace, but when it came down to the overall team synergy, it just was even more difficult. As we're jumping down over into the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen, a 2-0 victory was won out by the members of Team Ace. But even then, I'll give 120 FPS the props. Yes, the second game wasn't that contextual, but the first one, really loved the playstyle that they were trying to go in for.
Absolutely. The second one definitely ended way too soon, but still, with only 16 rounds on board, there are 21 frags for One Tap God with 315 ACS. I don't know how you get above 300 in a match that lasted so little.
Some things that will never ever be found out, though, isn't there? That's how the game of Valorant goes. You try to figure out a certain strategy, but at the end of the day, those strategies that you try to figure out can work for a little while, but immediately as your opponents start to figure out what you normally go in for, it's not going to be something that you can turn around. And I'm pretty sure that Ace as a team, they picked up on the map of Haven because they understood the neon-based composition is what the biggest weakness is going to be for the members of Team 120 FPS. The fast playstyle is where they suffer the most. Their team just cannot find an answer to what the neon can bring down to the table. The MVP on our screens is of course going to be One Tap God. Even the series MVP is going to be One Tap God because he was the star for pretty much both of the maps. It's just his world.
I just want to find... True that. I just want to find out if he climbed the level up leaderboard.
Pretty sure he did.
That's my main attention at. But yeah, even after all those kills, he has had only one fresh skill, being the duelist. That's how the team was playing. They were just so invasive. They just got all up in the space of players from the side of 120 FPS. Did not give them a lot of breathing room. Considering the duelist only had to have one first skill for them to win this so quickly, means the other team players were already so far ahead when it came to being first line of contact.
It's kind of where it all lies now, doesn't it? The team really being in a position where players like One Tap God just did whatever the hell he wanted. He was pretty much going and running on A-long all by himself just purely on the basis of a breach stun. And after the breach stun, he used his own stun and then got 2 kills. It happened time and time again in every single turn. It was the game of One Tap God. It was a series of One Tap God, mind you. He had 41 kills and 21 deaths. 21 deaths. He had almost a 2 KD.
That's almost 2 KD. Yes, almost 2 KD. Just one more kill and it would have been... That's huge, yes.
149 ACS as well across 2 maps with an ADR of 212. He almost guaranteed a kill. He guaranteed a kill every single round. And he guaranteed almost the second one as well. 7 first kills, he would have had even more, but even at that, at the end of the day, it was just his game. Imagine if he was on that raise on the map of Vine too. Sorry, he was Neon on the map of Vine as well. It would have been a different story entirely. When you're on that raise, you want to play a little bit more for your team instead of playing selfishly. That's what One Tap God did.
Agreed. Agreed, yeah. If it was Neon on both the maps, we might have seen, I mean, almost 2 kills every round. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. But yeah, let's take a look at the leaderboard and find out where One Tap God is gonna find himself, because I have a sure belief he should be up here. He's not there yet.
Eventually.
It's okay, he's gonna have more matches, yeah, eventually. Nobody
I mean,
that
One
played
Tap God
today
is gonna get
on
there.
this list. Yeah.
I mean, if I recall properly, Team Ace did not really play from the very beginning of season number 1, so they did join
makes
in
sense.
season 4 or season 3, if I recall properly. So their team members have not been able to really rack up the points to get onto the leaderboard that quickly. Our leaderboard does
makes
favor
sense,
people
yeah.
who have been playing from the very beginning up till the very end. So 69G being at the very top just goes to show that he's the face of consistency when it comes down to TEC tournaments.
True that, true that. I can see why he's not here. And I can also see him here in the future, so I'm waiting for One Tap God. But yes, this was a beautiful game, and the way Ace has played today is definitely gonna make whoever wins the next game very scared of them for tomorrow.
That is for certain. That's all that we have for you, ladies and gentlemen, for the first initial best of 3. But don't go anywhere, because we still have another stream up in front of your screen soon enough as well. That will be happening at 3 p.m. IST. Make sure to mark your time as well, and also hit that like and hit the subscribe button down below, and also hit that notification bell to know exactly when we're going to be going live, if you don't want to miss out on all of the Valorant action that we have for you soon. It's going to be Team Deadlift who are going to try to rise up to the challenge this time around to go up against 05.exe. Now, this is a game that can go the distance of all 3 maps, which is why, hey, check out all things on the description as well from our lovely sponsors. We want to see even more Valorant action, because season number 6 is also going to be around the corner. And if you want Crucial and Zotac to give us the means to make everything happen, make sure to support them. All the things down below in the description. But for now, it's going to be your boy Aggressive with Ahana signing on off for this first initial BO3. And we're going to be back with a lot more Valorant action for the Esports Showdown Series Season 5 Valorant, powered by Crucial by Micron, with our GPU partners Zotac Gaming and our media partners Gossip.gg. We'll be back very soon.
When are you gonna upgrade your system? Alright, let's do this.
Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45. But it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, you can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42-42-42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X 3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.